I thought if you were a good person and you do right by people, that people will take your kindness and give you kindness back. But what I realize is sometimes in this world, the kinder you are, the more they try to play you like a fool. I was delusional. I'm nice to you, you nice to me. Don't always work like that. Sometimes it's nice to me and I take advantage of you. So some of y'all, you delusional. I just need you to do me a favor. When you are delusional, you can never get the outcomes you want because the premise in which you're operating from is a lie. So you got to work from truth. And some of us don't want to deal with truth because it's so difficult. E.T., you dropped out of school. E.T., you grew up in a certain community. In order for you to be able to do what you need to do like a Tony Robbins, there's some things that you don't have in your arsenal that if you can just admit you don't have it in your arsenal, then you can go get it. But until you admit that you don't have it, you'll never be able to do it. You're afraid. Listen to me. Wherever you from, if that's where you from, if you leave, you can always come back. I promise you. I promise you when you come back, you can get right back in the conversation. Ain't nothing gonna change. I promise you, whatever world you're from, if you go to other worlds, you can always go back to that world. The version of you that you are right now is a blessing, but it won't take you to the next level. What got you here won't take you there. So let the dream destroy you, tear you down, redefine you, build you back up, make you stronger. The first version of Eric Thomas, the high school dropout, that guy would have never been able to stand here and help you. I had to destroy that Eric Thomas. No matter who you are, if you're average or if you're good, when you get around greatness and you stay around greatness, you start listening to great podcasts and reading great books, and you start hanging around great people, and you start becoming a part of great masterminds. God, you just evolve. And I don't know what happened, but every year I went from a high school dropout and homeless to I started to becoming every single day more of who I am. And I can't believe it. My next goal is to win the Nobel Prize. Why? I had to come up with something. I am giving you permission to be great. I'm giving you permission to be everything you were called to be, to do everything that you're capable of doing, to have everything you're supposed to have. Listen to me, you have to be careful when you hang around average people. All they're going to do is tell you what they can't do, and that's okay that they can't do it, but that has absolutely nothing to do with us. We can go from being homeless and high school dropouts to having PhDs, writing books, and becoming the voice of a generation. We can do whatever we believe we can do, and we don't need anybody's permission to do it but ours. You are brilliant. You are special. Yes, you're different, and yes, you're not doing it the traditional route, but greatness is upon you.
Rise and shine. 6 a.m. and your hand can't make it to the alarm clock before the voices in your head start telling you that it's too early, too dark, and too cold to get out of bed. Aching muscles lie still in rebellion, pretending not to hear your brain commanding them to move. A legion of voices are shouting their unanimous permission for you to hit the snooze button and go back to dreamland. But you didn't ask their opinion. The voice you've chosen to listen to is one of defiance. A voice that says there was a reason you set that alarm in the first place. So sit up, put your feet on the floor, and don't look back, because we've got work to do. Welcome to the grind. For what is each day but a series of conflicts between the right way and the easy way? 10,000 streams fan out like a river delta before you, each one promising the path of least resistance. Thing is, you're headed upstream. And when you make that choice, when you decide to turn your back on what's comfortable and safe and what some would call common sense, well, that's day one. From there, it only gets tougher. So just make sure this is something you want, because the easy way out will always be there, ready to wash you away. All you have to do is pick up your feet. But you aren't going to, are you? With each step comes the decision to take another. You're on your way now, but this is no time to dwell on how far you've come. You're in a fight against an opponent you can't see, but oh, you can feel him on your heels, can't you? Feel him breathing down your neck. You know what that is? That's you. Your fears, your doubts, and insecurities all lined up like a firing squad, ready to shoot you out of the sky. But don't lose heart. While they're not easy easily defeated, they are far from invincible. Remember, this is the grind, the battle royale between you and your mind, your body, and the devil on your shoulder who's telling you that this is just a game. This is just a waste of time. Your opponents are stronger than you. Drown out the voice of uncertainty with the sound of your own heartbeat. Burn away your self-doubt with the fire lit beneath you. Remember what we're fighting for and never forget that momentum's a cruel mistress. She can turn on a dime with the smallest mistake. She is ever searching for the weak place in your armor, that one tiny thing you forgot to prepare for. So as long as the devil is hiding the details, the question remains, is that all you got? Are you sure? And when the answer is yes, when you've done all you can to prepare yourself for battle, then it's time to go forth and boldly face your enemy, the enemy within. Only now you must take that fight into the open, into hostile territory. You're a lion in a field of lions, all hunting the same elusive prey with a desperate starvation that says victory is the only thing that can keep you alive. So believe that voice that says you can run a little faster, and you can throw a little harder, and that for you, the laws of physics are merely a suggestion. Luck is the last dying wish of those who want to believe that winning can happen by accident. Sweat, on the other hand, is for those who know it's a choice. So decide now, because destiny waits for no man. And when your time comes and 1,000 different voices are trying to tell you you're not ready for it, listen instead to that lone voice of dissent. The one that says you are ready, you are prepared. It's all up to you now. So rise and shine.
Disrupting your life and beginning to look at the disruptions in your life and what do we do with that? How do we handle that? Everything that we experience, everything that we now are taking advantage of, somebody paid a price for it. And one of the most important things that we have to do on an ongoing basis, and I want you to write this down and to honor this, upgrade yourself. I was looking at my computer and asked, are you ready for an update? You want it now or later? And I push now. And we really should update our knowledge on a regular basis, update our vision of ourselves on a regular basis, upgrade the vision and the goals and the dreams that we have on a regular basis. Why is that? What's the purpose of updating? Because where you are right now, that level of impact and that place where you are right now and the skill set that got you there, that has expired. And you got to update your skills, your knowledge. That's why Einstein said that thinking that has brought me this far, it's created some problems that this thinking can't solve. Most of us die unlived lives. Why is it that Dr. Miles Monroe for years said, rob the cemetery of your gifts and of your talents and of your abilities and of your skills and your leadership and your book and your music and the impact of your life? Why do you say that? Why do we have to say that over and over and over again? Because we have been programmed and are being programmed every day. We have been programmed to be spectators, to be fans. You look at the number of people that watch a summit and listen to speakers sharing their story and their experiences and how they got through and how they got over and how they got to the other side. Look at the number of eyeballs, the number of people who view those. And then you look at the number of people who view old basketball games, boxing matches, football, various acts of foolishness on the internet. The numbers are just minuscule. Most people in their own lives, they are rookies. They're living a life of mediocrity. Our goal is to help you to begin to not die with your music still in you, as Shakespeare would say. It's about the music, it's about the fire, it's about your mindset of living your life on your terms. Most people aren't doing that because we have been programmed to be fans, to be spectators. And the other thing that's important is creating a community of collaborative, achievement-driven supportive relationships. And it started with a man, Mr. Washington, who said, a high school teacher, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. It could start with one person, and then it goes from there. I started associating with people who were doing what I wanted to do. I joined a multi-level marketing group called Best Line Products. When I heard the voice of a guy that when he spoke, it seemed like he was talking to me. I was in a hotel at a convention and Bill Bailey spoke and he was selling this dream. I didn't even know the products, but I wanted to be a part of it. And what I found, and one of the great things about multi-level marketing, is that it puts you in a community of other like-minded people. I think that's the value and the power of associations of different kinds. Associating with people who share your values, associating with people, like-minded people who have dreams, who have goals that they're working on, and being in that community. Studies indicate that one goose can fly 40% further in formation with other geese than it could ever fly by itself.
Every day, I wake up and think of my ideal life. I have so many goals that I want to accomplish. I have so much that I want to do. I have a vision of my life, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Feel at times the clock is winding down. It truly is a struggle to stay positive and motivated. Sometimes, like most people, I want to throw in the towel and just give up. Sometimes it just feels like there's just no use. There's just too much ground to cover. I am not where I want to be, but I am so grateful I am not where I used to be. I am talking to those people that are just about to give up, that are just about to lose all hope. I am here, ladies and gentlemen, to cheer you on, to let you know that you, my friends, are going to get there. You are going to get that promotion. You are going to complete that marathon, and you are going to run for your life. Whatever you are working towards, you are going to get there. But you got to get crystal clear what it is you want, what it is that you are seeking for, what it is you truly want. You must know, you got to know that you're going to get there. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, work like hell, crack the ground and keep moving. There's nothing gonna stop me. If you didn't make me, you can't break me. If you didn't make the sun come up, you can't stop me. If you didn't make the moon shine at night, you can't stop me. My purpose, my will, my dedication, my motivation is all about doing the business, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's what I'm about. I'm about that business. I'm about that life. What are you about? I need to constantly remind myself I'm not yet where I want to be, but I know I'll get there. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm not where I used to be.
The time has come for you to disappear and get to work. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been distracted for far too long. You have been surrounded by so much negativity, and you have let yourself go. You have not put yourself in a position to do better so that you can be better. It's time for you to let go. It's time for you to disappear. It's time for you to get focused. Sometimes you just got to escape and get away. Get away from people. Now, I'm not telling you to get away from the people that matter in your life. I'm telling you to get away from the people that's holding you back, that's keeping you down, that's not lifting you up, that's not giving you the strength that you need to stay focused, to stay driven, to stay disciplined.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living." Now, I'm sure in your experiences in school and applying to college and picking your major and deciding what you want to do with life, I'm sure people have told you to make sure you have something to fall back on. Make sure you got something to fall back on, honey. But I never understood that concept, having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. Without consistency, you'll never finish. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test with 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. You will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. And I know that's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but hey, I'm telling you, embrace it, because it's inevitable.
Life is not easy. It is not. Don't try to make it that way. Life's not fair. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't ever be. Do not fall into the trap, the entitlement trap, of feeling like you're a victim. You are not. Get over it and get on with it. The sooner that we become less impressed with our life, with our accomplishments, with our career, with whatever that prospect is in front of us, the sooner we become less impressed and more involved with that and these things, the sooner we get a whole lot better at doing it. So, I'm going to talk to you about some things I've learned in my journey. Happiness is an emotional response to an outcome. If I win, I will be happy. If I don't, I won't. It's an if-then, cause and effect, quid pro quo standard that we cannot sustain because we immediately raise it every time we attain it. You see, happiness demands a certain outcome. It is result reliant. And I say if happiness is what you're after, then you're going to be let down frequently. You're going to be instead of creating outcomes that take from us, let's create more outcomes that pay us back, fill us up, keep your fire lit, turn you on for the most amount of time in your future. These are the choices I'm talking about. And this is the beauty of delayed gratification. Tee yourself up. Do yourself a favor. Make the choices, the purchases today that pay you back tomorrow. Residuals. We have to define success for ourselves. And then we have to put in the work to maintain it. Take that daily tally. Tend our garden. Keep the things that are important to us in good shape. But if we stay in process, right, within ourselves, in the joy of the doing, we will never choke at the finish line. Why? Because we aren't thinking of the finish line. Because we're not looking at the clock. We're not watching ourselves on the Jumbotron performing the very act that we're in the middle of. No, we're in process. The approach is the destination, and we are never finished.
You gotta have the courage. Do you have the courage to act outwardly on what you see inwardly? Or will you die a dreamer? Will you die on the verge and on the edge and in the land of coulda, woulda, and shoulda? It takes courage to be successful. It is far easier not to be successful. Misery will always have company. Success breeds contempt. If you don't want to make waves, be mediocre. Be normal and fit in.
When that alarm clock goes off, there's at least 50% of the time where you just, that soft little pillow is just caressing your head and you want to stay there. And it takes discipline to go, nope, I'm gonna get up out of this bed and I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do.
It took me 2 years to finally say, Goliath, here I come.
Always something. You will never ever have a problem-free moment in life.
Goliath, you might be taller than me, you might be bigger than me, you might be stronger than me, but I'm coming.
Working on yourself, watching that inner dialogue, it will determine the quality of your life.
Being afraid of something that has not yet happened and may never happen, based on past thoughts, beliefs, and conditioning. Throughout this world, there lives only two kinds of people. Those who have conquered their fears and those who are living their fears. Those who are living their fears and those who are living their dreams because they had the courage to take on their fears.
What is the #1 killer of dreams? What do you think is the #1 reason the majority fail to live a life they love? What is the #1 reason why people fail to succeed at any level? It's not luck. It's not lack of money or opportunity. It's certainly not circumstance. It's fear.
Fear is the greatest killer of dreams that ever roamed planet Earth. Fear is that voice inside you that says you can't. The voice that gets louder and stronger every time you listen. Every time you let fear dictate your decision, fear grows stronger. Fear grows bigger. Fear is the voice of average. The voice of the settler.
Fear must die. Fear will die.
The only way you can change is to step right into your fear.
You must step right into fear. You must sum up all the courage inside you and do the thing you fear most.
Failure may come. Your greatest fears may be realized. And that is why you go in with the attitude that you will do whatever it takes to conquer that fear.
No matter how many times I fail, no matter how many times I feel rejected, embarrassed, down, out, I will not give up. I will keep at it until my greatest fear dies. I will stand toe-to-toe with fear. Fear will die. My largest fear carries my greatest growth. I will never let my fears decide my fate. I am bigger than any fear. Fear has no place within my heart.
Fear has no place within your heart. Fear is conditioned into us from a young age. Many don't pay attention to the stages of fear. Be careful. You can't do that. Play it safe. These consistent fearful thoughts add up, live inside us, and form our psychology, which for most turns into inaction. For most turns into average. For most, turns into settling for a life they aren't passionate about living.
Fear will die. It's time to take back control.
So how do we overcome our fears? Find something that is more painful than your fear.
The things that you come visit you in your nightmares, those things are real. Those are the things that you have to deal with. Those are the monsters underneath the bed. Those are the skeletons in the closet. Those are the things that you've put away. And some of the stuff that you've put away and you don't want to deal with is some of the best part of you. How many times have you heard this? People always say, always show up positive. Always bring you positivity. Well, that means you only bring half of it. That means you're not accepting the other half. You got to bring the light. You got to bring the dark. You got to bring the good. You got to bring the bad. You have to have conversations with those skeletons in your closets. They know you better than you know yourself. In order to stand out, in order to fight, many times you have to become that monster. For most individuals, when they become that monster, they don't know how to control it. And they let the monster control them. So it's a learning process. And all those years that you run from that monster underneath your bed, you're actually being taught, can you control that monster, or is that monster going to control you?
The official definition of self-discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. Also, it's the ability to pursue what one thinks is right, despite temptations to abandon it. See, the problem with you is you rarely exercise your self-discipline muscle. You just go with the flow, no backbone whatsoever. And that's perfectly fine until you start whining and complaining about your lack of success. Whining and complaining about your lack of progress. Whining and complaining that you're not gaining any momentum and you can't seem to get ahead in life.
Is today the day where you make excuses, or is today the day you make a decision?
The challenge becomes that most of us, when it's time to do what beasts do, we don't do it.
You got a job to do. It's time for you to get it done.
You are going to have to wake up and make a decision to get it done.
Perfect doesn't come to you. It may not be easy, but it's not impossible.
What are you most passionate about doing in life? What sets you on fire on the inside? What can you not get enough of?
Don't accept things just as they are. Don't follow the crowd.
Don't tell me what you gonna do. Tell me you got it done.
Every day, there is always an opportunity to build, to create, to advance, to make progress. And you're either moving forwards or you're going backwards. Everybody wants to win, but in order to know how to win, you gotta know how to lose, because you're gonna lose more than you're gonna win. What's the greatest thing that you will ever do? Just get started.
See, not only do you owe yourself, but you told your mama you were finished. You told your daddy you were finished. You told your brother you were finished. You told your sister you were finished. So therefore, it's up to you to never diminish the value of your word.
It's possible that you're just one decision away from your breakthrough. Sacrifice like there is no tomorrow.
Stop waiting to feel like it.
Everyone has the same amount of hours in a day, but some people waste their time while others maximize their time.
Even if you have to take a break, just don't stop.
Someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that. Well, that day is today. No more tomorrows.
This is my only opportunity. We have today.
It's never too late to be what you might have been.
Don't put your future into someone else's hands.
You're not going to feel the process all the time. You're not going to see it. Some days you're not going to want to write about it. You're not going to want to talk about it. You're not going to want to think about it. You're going to have migraines thinking about the sacrifices that are required to get to this next level, but just don't stop.
What if today was the day that success had your name written on it? Procrastination is the thief of destination.
Today, I want to remind you that you are not average. I want to remind you that you have what it takes. All you have right now is today. So give it your all. You've got this.
Today, not tomorrow. Stop looking back at what happened yesterday. Don't let that deter you. No fear, no doubt, no reservation. See, success is reserved for you. So what's your hesitation?
So if you've been doubting yourself, stop. If you've been doubting your abilities, stop. If you've been putting yourself down, stop. Because doubt is the enemy of progress.
You can get to a place in your life where you are so tired that you can hardly move. And they said if you look up, you can get up. And you can be so fragmented, so beat up, that you can't even open your eyes. And so every opportunity that comes, every person that comes, every wind of change that blows, your response is, I'll do it tomorrow. Man, I'll do it tomorrow. It can wait, it can wait. And that's because we've lost the urgency.
Here's what we do know. Life doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get more forgiving. We just get stronger and we get more resilient. One thing I've noticed is that enthusiasm is common, but endurance is rare. The race is not given to the strong nor the swift, but it is given to he that endureth until the end. One thing I know is that we've all been hit with a measure of adversity at some point in our life. Everybody listening to me has been hit with a measure of trauma.
Everybody wants destiny. Everybody wants manifestation. Everybody wants fulfillment. Everybody wants the next level and the relationship and a higher quality of living. But nobody wants to eliminate distractions. Nobody wants to disappear for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months and eliminate all distractions and get into a place where you can focus on just you. What if you could just shut out every distraction? What if you could just shut out the world for just a season and focus on you? A man is rewarded in public for what he does in private. The reason why you don't see it, the reason why it has not manifested, the reason why you are so frustrated is because you have not been willing to forsake all that you've been called to forsake and to follow through behind closed doors. Sure, you can talk about it. Sure, you can plan it. Sure, you can write it down. Sure, you can go to the conference and hear about it. You can read about it. But at some juncture, you have to disappear and put the work in and come back and shock everybody that doubted you. Some of you don't even realize you have unfinished business. You need to go back where you left off with a new perspective. Go back to the gym. Go back to the drawing board. Go back to the business. Go back to the relationship. Go back to the burning building. You have unfinished business. All you gotta do is show up with a new game plan and a new perspective. You got unfinished business. You have unfinished business. You got work to do. What happens when your perspective, your perception diametrically opposes your reality? If you are going to give and grow and evolve and attain and become, everything rises and falls on your viewpoint. Perspective. is everything. Let's go. I need you to hear me loud and clear. How you see this thing is everything. You cannot change the past, but you can change your perspective about it. Your viewpoint is your advantage. Your viewpoint is what changes the game. Everybody wants increase and abundance and lifestyle change and new zip codes and new area codes, but you only read once a week and you only work out once or twice a month. And so the reason why you don't have what it is that you see, the reason why what's in your head is not in your hands, it's not your reality, it's because your perspective opposes your potential. You don't have it because you don't see the value in it. If you believe you've been called to be the difference maker, the game changer, the disruptor, the person that comes into a room and commands the atmosphere, if you believe you've been called to be necessary and not grossly irrelevant, then everything you do, everything you see, everything rises and falls on your perspective, your perception, your viewpoint. How do you see this thing?
I outlasted the pain. I outlasted the pain. When I was sleeping in those abandoned buildings, I kept telling myself, one day you'll be a homeowner. Every time I walked into that abandoned building, I told myself that this might be your current circumstances, but this will not be how the story ends. All you have to do, ET, is to survive today. To survive today. When they kicked me out of school, I knew that I would not be a high school dropout for the rest of my life. I knew I got to get through this one day. For those of you who didn't meet my mom last year, me and my mom been through a lot. My mom and I have gone months and almost years of not talking to each other, but every single day I kept telling myself, one day I'll have a great relationship with my mom. One day. Well, I didn't grow up with my biological father. He wasn't in my life until I was 30 years old. But I told myself, today, your father is not in your life, but one day. And so every single day when I wake up homeless, one day. Every single day when I woke up in that abandoned building, one day. One day is going to be ET's day, but that day can't come if I give up today. So every single day when I woke up, I kept telling myself, today might not be the day, but soon it will be my day, and I will recycle my pain. What will you do with your pain? Will you let it break you, or will you let it redefine you?
If you really want to be successful, if you really want to go to the next level, if you really want to prove all your doubters and haters and naysayers wrong, you have to be willing to disappear for 6 months. You have to be willing to disappear for 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, as long as it takes for you to metamorph into the brand new you. See, the mindset of greatness is what will allow you to stay inside while you're trying to put yourself in a position 6 months from now to come back outside a brand new human being. Make the world remember your name. Make the world say, wow, what in the world have you been doing? It's discipline, discipline, and more discipline. The great Zig Ziglar says, self-discipline is doing within while you're doing without. Oh, you don't believe that it can happen for you? You don't believe that if you disappear for 6 months and come up with a game plan and execute that game plan, that you can change your life?
Sure, you can talk about it. Sure, you can plan it. Sure, you can write it down. Sure, you can go to the conference and hear about it. You can read about it. But at some juncture, you have to disappear and put the work in and come back and shock everybody that doubted you.
I chose to sit my butt down and get to work and grind hard each and every day and celebrate the small wins along the way. And let one day become 2, and 2 days become 3, and 3 days become 4, and 4 turned into a week, and a week turned into a month, and a month turned into 2 months, and 2 months became 3, and 3 became 4, and 5 became 6. And when I showed myself, the world knew I had been working. I knew I had been working. I was a different animal. I was a different beast. And it's now time for you to unleash your beast to the world.
One day I made a decision that enough is enough. I'm tired of being average. I'm tired. I'm tired of being good. I'm tired. I want to go to the dealership and buy the best car. I want to move to the nicest neighborhood. I want to fly first class. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Australia. I made a decision. Enough is enough. It's showtime. Will the real Eric Thomas please stand up?
You are the star of your show. You are the director. You're writing the script. And you will determine whether your life is a smash office hit or flop. You determine that. Working on yourself, talking to yourself. That's so very important. Overcoming the negative conversation, that inner dialogue that's going on all the time. Even when you don't want it to be there. You can't stop yourself right now from thinking. You can't do it. It's going on. And so learning how to empower yourself, part of doing that is standing up to yourself.
If you can hear my voice, you've got work to do. You've got a destiny to fulfill. You've got a purpose to walk into. You've got a test to pass. You've got dots to connect, rooms to walk in, stages to stand on, and tables to sit down at. We all want to do something. We all want to be somebody. We all want to go somewhere. Let's dispense with the painful conversations of what happened in your past. Celebrate the lessons that you learned in your past. Unpack the gift of the present and let the future be your motivation. Everybody is looking to manifest. We're all looking to manifest something. We'll lose sleep to manifest, and we'll work 2 or 3 jobs to manifest, and we'll study for hours in a day to manifest. We are all looking to manifest something. And so there are a few things that we have to understand in order to manifest this future. The future, when it is no longer a distant dream, some possibility, some idea, but it's a very present target. All of a sudden, everything changes. You have allowed yourself to become a weak link covered under the blanket of excuses. But I'm just wondering if there's anybody here that has a dream. And if you've made your excuses bigger than your dream, the time is now to apply pressure. It may not be easy, but it's not impossible. This is not a I feel like it today. This is not a I'm motivated for a week. This is an every single day mentality. You may have to work 3 times. You may have to lose sleep. You may have to go to college and raise 5 children and still maintain your marriage and work your side hustle. I don't know what your story is, but if you will keep a no excuse mentality, then the sky is not your limit. The sky is your starting point. This is an every single day mentality.
We all have 24 hours. All right, what makes some of us average, makes some of us good, some of us great, is not the family you was born into, right? It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with your socioeconomic status. It has everything to do with how you command your life. So if you have a bad day, which is no such thing of, it doesn't exist. You had a bad moment and you were so immature that you let that moment dictate the rest of your day, right? And y'all not kids no more. I don't do elementary school. Right? I don't do elementary school because they really, a 5th grader, if I'm talking to a 3rd grader, 4th grader, 5th grader, kindergartner, I don't care what I tell them, they're not at a place of maturity where they can switch their mindset. They're kids, you grown. And some of you are grown, but you're still a child. And you brag about how you're an adult. You're only an adult because of your age. You're not an adult because you command your life. You're an adult because of your age. And that's not what makes adulthood. You're not an adult because you are 18 years old, you're 25, 26. If you still kept catching temper tantrums, you still getting attitudes, that means you're not an adult in that area. That means that particular area controls you.
right? You almost got into a car accident over with. Car accident been over with 10 hours ago, you still pissed about it. Or you done got into it with your friend. That happened 2 days ago and y'all still not talking. That's immaturity, right? And let me tell you something. You don't know how many days you have. Like, I'm just gonna keep it 100. You don't know how many days you have left. You don't wanna be wasting days. Like, you're not God. Like, you don't create. You can't wake yourself up. You don't know how many days you have left. You can't be playing with the days you have on foolishness. So you have to learn how to control yourself, right? And so y'all know my circumstances. I'm not here because I'm sweet. I'm here because one day I was like, yo, you need to get a control of this, bro. You need to get control of your life. You do not have control. You watching doggone TV playing video games when you should be out here grinding. So there are people all the day, people are ET. Bro, you do not want to be me. You're not ready for this grind, bro. Some of you can show up when you're at home, when you go on the road, you struggle, meaning that when things are going the way you want, you cool, but when it rains, you gotta grow up. Your body does not control you. If I got to get up early in the morning to get the money, I'm a morning person. If I gotta go play somebody in their hometown and they got home court advantage, I'm about to come bring the heat. Like, listen to me, like, you gotta stop playing. So most of you, what happens is, when everything is favorable, you a beast. Make sure you understand what I'm saying. When everything is favorable, meaning like whatever conditions you like, when those conditions are right, you a beast. But when the conditions ain't right, you get smacked in the face. You gotta grow up. You gotta be a morning person, afternoon person, night person. You gotta be at home person, on the road person. You gotta be when you feel good person, when you sick person, when you tired person. I took it offensive. My man looked at me, you tired. I'm like, bro, have you lost your mind? I'm about to kill it. But I had to do back-to-back speeches. 4 o'clock to 5, then they wanted me to wait till 8 to start again. I had to sit there for 3 hours and wait and came and like, let's go. Each one of us, the things that you don't have control over is the things that's keeping you from being sweet. And at what point are you gonna fight against that nature in you that you know? So if I was to ask most of you, you already know what your challenge is. You ain't dumb, you know what it is. You just don't fight it. And I'm challenging you to fight it. And the only reason you're having a bad day is because of what you're thinking about. Now, I read something that said that the human brain is phenomenal and it can think like of 1,000,000 and something different things, right? It's explosive. But the one thing it cannot do is it cannot think of 2 ideas at the exact same time. It does not have the capacity to think of 2 things at once. Now, it has the capacity in an hour to think about a whole bunch of stuff, but at one particular moment, it cannot think about more than one thing. So if you're having a bad day or having a bad moment, it means you're probably focusing on what? Whatever that bad thing is, that's what you're focusing on. That's why your life messed up, because you focus on the stuff that's wrong. You're not putting the same energy on what's right. And it's just weird how we are as humans. We notice the bad and we talk about the bad, but we don't notice the good and talk about the good. We don't harp on the goods. And that's what you do wrong. You focus so much on the negative that you forget all the positive. And then when you do think about the positive, you're not putting the energy in the positive like you put in the negative. So it's no secret you are where you are because you focusing on stuff you ain't got no business focusing on.